Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Linda, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our message and meditation today comes from Hamilton Sage. Hamilton is an award-winning actor, poet, spoken word coach, self-published author, and teacher. Together, he and his wife, Ingrid Ali, form the dynamic spoken word poetry duo, Twin Soul Poets, offering performances, workshops, and online coaching. They won the 2016 Post Award for Social Action and Justice with their group piece, The Lovings. Hamilton has facilitated his workshops at the Brave New Voices and National Poetry Slam for hundreds of young poets, as well as students from various schools, aiming to compose and uplift all of his students. And now here's Hamilton Sage.
Thank you, Linda. Well, thank you all of you for having me here today. I first just want to share just some gratitude and feel into gratitude for being able to share this message today, being able to be with so many people all around, the world, virtually, and also gratitude for a gorgeous day. We're moving into this gorgeous springtime weather. It's that time to start getting in the gardens again. And just, I didn't know, I'm feeling the mood boost of just seeing the sun again, feeling that warmth. So sharing gratitude today. And today I'll be sharing some poetry as well. Grateful to be able to share some of my poetry that I've written. The poetry that I perform is called spoken word poetry. And so if anyone here has never heard of that or not quite sure what that is, I heard it best defined, I think, by another poet, Allende Russell, one time in a workshop where he shared that spoken word creates a space where we can share. And I really love that definition because it really does have this. I've always seen spoken word as like the ultimate icebreaker almost. There's something about poetry to me that really opens people up, really cuts through different maybe different sort of funnels of perception to where it's sort of touches on a thing that we're all connected to. And I try really usually don't take too much personal credit for a lot of the things that I write or speak or share on stage, because oftentimes if I have a very real sense that many of these poems just kind of come to me all at once and I just need to write it down before it's gone. It's like a train, that's going by. I either get it or I don't. But I think that's something that comforts me a lot before I step on stage or before I'm performing and maybe I'm feeling a little nervous jitters or something. And I remind myself that this is not really about me. These poems that I write down or that I share, They come from something else that we're all connected to. And everyone here is here to connect to that. And you're not really here to listen to me. So I think that is a powerful reminder for myself, and my invitation to everyone here as you listen to some of the poems that I share, as you listen to this message, is to really open yourself, open your mind, and see if you can allow yourself to connect with this higher perspective, this whatever this source thing is that we are all connected to, right? And this is a core value of Unity Church, right? That really there is no separation, and that we are all connected. We are all one in this experience, being able to co-create together. And it's an appropriate focus, I think, for this message titled Power of Perspective. And I want you to also think about the idea really, when I put this talk together, is that the power of perspective is one of our most powerful creative tools that we have at our disposal to really be able to shape and create our own experience. The same situations, the same experiences in life can be vastly, the way that we experience them and move through them can be greatly affected by a simple flip of the switch of perspective. And so my hope is that some of this poetry, some of these messages help us to connect with a higher perspective that maybe allows us to move through things that feel like obstacles or challenges with that much more grace, with that much more peace and understanding. And also, I'll be sharing as well a couple, like 2 practical ways that maybe we can help ourselves in expanding our perspective, maybe strengthening this creative tool to where we can really use the power of perspective mindfully. And so I wanted to, I'll start with a poem today. And this poem I wrote actually years ago, probably about, I want to say about 12 years ago. But it's one of those poems that feels like it just gets more and more relevant as time goes on. And even my own understanding of what it means to me seems to deepen and evolve as it goes on. And it's called Eye of the Storm. And it's really appropriate for this idea of perspective. And, you know, with the idea that that everything happens for a reason. And I know for myself, the past few years, like starting around like pandemic time and everything, it was a definite time of a lot of challenges and a lot of upheaval for, I think, almost everybody worldwide. But for myself as well, like, you know, both my wife and I's jobs closed at that time, like permanently. There was not really any spaces to share or perform as artists. We're both actors as well, and that whole industry was shut down. And it was like, man, I was really in this space of like, what am I supposed to do? You know, and that can feel like being in the midst of this big storm, this big chaotic storm. And you know what I've gotten out of that whole experience is this ability to practice, really practice this belief of mine that I've had for a long time, that things do happen for a reason, and that there is value in finding a higher perspective that maybe sees the perfection in everything. So we'll start with that, and we'll kind of, yeah, my invitation is just to reflect on that as you listen to this poem. All disasters look like chaos from within, but the eye of the storm sees the calm creativity in the destruction. If we believe that everything happens for a reason, the term everything must be all inclusive. It does not mean everything except for things that are inconvenient for me. If we should see something that we love falling apart, we would do well to study the reasons. If this capitalist consumer system falls apart, there will be a reason. There are plenty of reasons. How much time do you have? There was a constant changing of the seasons. Are we ready for the next path? The end of 2012 has come and gone, but I'm still able to see past, because what is time anyway? What is time? Does it even exist? In this, the stillness between the heartbeats, the breathlessness between breathing, the lucid sleep, the stretching seconds, tiny forevers. So let all the money fill the pockets of the 99%. The timing couldn't be better. It's about damn time. The Mayans say it's about that time. According to them, these are not the last days, but a time of great change. Have you ever noticed how a galaxy looks exactly like a hurricane? We used to find strength in these storms, look forward to the life-giving rains. Now we just complain that we lost power. Between computers, iPads, iPods, and TVs, have we ever considered how much of our time is spent staring at a screen? So much time wasted in past and future dreams that we miss all of the presents in between. The gift of now is the only time that's real, but it seems that we only remember when the earth shakes and the sky screams, when the wind howls with laughter, asking, what is time? How can it change? It is what it is, or it is all that is, meaning that it always is. It does not end. There is no end. Only endless little forevers, twinkling in the eye of a storm. Thank you. So yes, that poem is called Eye of the Storm. And, you know, life feels like being in the middle of a big storm sometimes. And I really have to lean into that practice sometimes to be able to maintain a sense of peace in that. And maybe some folks listening can relate to that challenge. It's not always easy. But I'm very interested by that idea that, you know, one of the lines in the poem, that why is it that from a bird's eye view, from a satellite view, a storm, a hurricane looks identical to a galaxy, the galaxy that we're all floating through the cosmos in. It looks very similar in design to the spiral of a seashell, the same spiral that we see in, you know, the petals of a flower when it's blossomed. When we cut into a fruit and we see these same designs, it seems like all of life is maybe giving us these hints, these little hints, right? Reminders that we really are all connected here. And there really is some sort of grand design in how everything is unfolding. And maybe this core experience, this spiral, that we see in the storm, that we see in the galaxy, that we see everywhere. We call it the Fibonacci spiral, right? Maybe that is life. Maybe that's really at the core of what life, the experience of life itself, or consciousness even is. This thing that's always expanding, always sort of circling back in the process of growing, but always coming back to itself, in all these different forms. And in the process of expansion, and if that's true, how do we access this higher perspective that can, you know, see the beauty of that design, not be thrown by the winds and the chaos of the storm, but be able to stand firm in peace, stand right in the midst of it, in the eye of the storm, and really just have a powerful knowing that everything is not only okay, everything is well and always is. And that it's all part of our growth. So I want to share two ways that I think that maybe we can help ourselves connect with this power of perspective and build that muscle. And they're both kind of connected in a way. But the first one is practicing connecting with and experiencing the perspective of others by placing ourselves in the shoes of other people, using our imagination to really try to open our minds to what is it like to experience life as this person or that person, or even beyond people, connecting with the perspective of other living beings around us. What is it like to experience life as the trees around me? What is it like to experience life as the animals around me, the squirrels, the birds, children, right? I was as an actor, I'm really kind of blessed to be able to get to do this all the time as my job. I regularly, getting auditions where I get to step into the shoes of a different character, somebody who might have very little in common with my actual life experiences, but my job is to figure out what do I have in common with this person. And okay, maybe if there's not even much that I can technically see that we have in common, can I live as this person and truthfully, and can I really use my imagination and use my sense of compassion and empathy to really get inside their skin and to understand their human experience. And I feel that really helps me grow as a person, to be totally honest. And I find myself practicing it just in day-to-day life. I mentioned before the pandemic, I was working a few different jobs, and I'd worked in the service industry for years, and waiting tables or managing a little juice and smoothie store. And sometimes, people walk into establishments sometimes and they're just ready to be mad, or you might experience a lot of people being, frankly rude in jobs like that. And it's really easy to be dismissive in moments like that, to be defensive, to take it personal and be like, forget them, right? And I'm far from perfect at this, but I found that I've had some really amazing experiences when I've been able to lean in on times like that, to get curious and to open my heart and to open my mind to imagining what's going on for this person today? What have they experienced this morning leading up to this moment before they walked in the door here? What maybe what's going on for them that's making them feel like on edge, or making them feel anxious or stressed, or like they just need to unload some anger or emotion on somebody, what's happened for them? What does that feel like? And can I understand that at all? Have I ever had days like that? You know, it's a very powerful doorway to be. My acting coach actually calls these like sliding glass door moments that are an opportunity to open the door to love. And um, I've also was blessed to years ago um, participate in this Native American ceremony. It was called an animal spirit dance, and there was like a whole sweat lodge thing that we did, and then they had people come out, but the whole ceremony was around the idea that all animals, all of nature that we are surrounded by, all this life surrounding us, even right now, wherever you're sitting outside your home, there's all these trees, there's all these animals and insects, living beings, that all of them are really connected to us in a very deep spiritual way, and that they can be our teachers, and that they're actually really very willing to connect with us in that way and offer wisdom, offer guidance, offer energetic assistance to take on some of our burdens that maybe feel overwhelming at times. They're here for that purpose, and they're willing to help in that way. And all it takes is that perspective to see them with that kind of reverence, with that kind of respect, and with that kind of curiosity, rather than just walking right by and not even noticing all of these potential master teachers that are right there, maybe with something really profound to share. How do we open our mind to the perspective that um, maybe their presence really is relevant to our own experience, and maybe that's the only perspective that it takes to open this door to all kinds of learning, all kinds of powerful lessons. I was thinking about this one day when I was at my friend's place in Atlanta, and we were having some deep conversation along this topic. And I was sitting outside by myself afterwards, having just, and I was really at a tough period. It was one of those moments a couple years ago where I was really questioning a lot of things, and I was really questioning my own purpose, my own sense of belonging, and struggling to kind of like find my way. What were the next steps, And I remembered somebody saying something about that trees. What if trees are like masters of groundedness, right? Their whole perspective in life, their whole experience is literally just rooting into this one place, standing firm and being still through everything, and always offering so much literally like offering oxygen to that we breathe, providing sanctuary and a place to live for so many other animals and things. And so I was just kind of sitting there reflecting on that and looking at this tree that was like right in front of me, and so many questions in my head. And I just had the maybe crazy idea, right, to ask out loud. And I literally asked out loud to this tree, tell me your story. What do you have to share? And I immediately felt like I was started getting an answer. It was one of those things where a poem started coming to me like a train moving across the horizon, and I had to go rush and grab a pen because it felt like this tree was responding to my question in a poem. And it just kind of all came at once. And so I wrote this poem down. And this is the poem that, in my mind, just came from a tree. It's not really mine. I asked the tree for a story, and it told me of stillness, a stillness in vibrance, a stillness through illness, a stillness through change, a stillness through the seasons, a stillness through the moments without needing the reasons, a stillness in growth, a stillness in reaching, a stillness in learning, receiving the teaching, roots that run deep, grounded through fears, a stillness through aging, stillness for hundreds of years, a stillness for love and stillness for loss, stillness in silence, stillness within. My story is your story. May the stillness begin. So when I wrote that down, and I felt so grateful for receiving that blessing of a poem from this tree, because I really needed that message at that time. It was like exactly what I needed to hear. And it gave me just such a powerful reminder of this perspective that maybe I don't need to fix anything. Maybe sometimes the most powerful way through is just getting still and grounding yourself and finding that peace. And then you can know the next step forward. But just be able to be still first. It was a really powerful reminder for me. The next way of expanding our perspective that I wanted to talk about, and I'll try to wrap things up quick because it seems like this time is moving pretty quickly here. But the second idea that I had is to change or expand our perspective of ourselves through exploring the I am, right? And I think it's kind of connected to the first one, because in my experience of playing many different characters and acting and doing crazy things like asking a tree what is their story and what is their experience like, and having all of these very visceral experiences where I feel like I'm truly connecting with the experience and perspective of another person or a tree, and really getting these like downloads of what that perspective is like. It really, for me, begins to sort of expand my idea of my own sense of self and my own perspective of who I am. Because if I can have these visceral experiences of understanding someone else's shoes, it's like these walls of the illusion of separation break down just a little bit more every time. And the walls of the box that we tend to put ourselves in to define ourselves as this is who I am, right? Ultimately, any answer we give to that question of who am I can be pretty limiting. And it is like this box that we live in as our comfort zone. But if we can connect in a very truthful way to all these other experiences, maybe who we are is a lot more expansive than we really thought. And so So this happens, expanding our sense of self, it happens naturally from practicing the first one, stepping into other people's perspectives. But it also happens when, we really start to get clear on that question of I am, right? And this gets pretty deep. Many scholars and many historians um, seem pretty clear that like some of the first writings ever found in like caves and ancient times and things, scratched in the caves and things, the name of God that people had written down translates most closely to I am. And if I am is the name of the divine, then anything that we put after that is really a very powerful like prayer of affirmation, speaking things into existence and speaking our own experience into existence. Like we really get to tell our own story in a lot of ways. And so it makes me think of Marianne Williamson's quote, right? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And maybe these boxes that we put ourselves in from time to time are just so that we, you know, we don't have to be overwhelmed by the knowing that we're a lot more, closer to God than we think. We have a lot more divinity within ourselves than we think, and there's a lot of responsibility in that creative power, right? It's like goes back to the first poem. If everything happens for a reason except the things that I don't really like, if we create all of our experience and we are creators co-creating this life experience, yeah, I can subscribe to that, but I didn't create that thing over there and I don't have anything to do with that war over there, right? But it's like it's either true or it's not, right? And to take full ownership of that, creativity is, it can be a lot, right? So I think it can be really powerful to begin to explore maybe some of these beliefs about ourselves that many of them live sort of in the subconscious, and they might be operating, the things that we think we don't have anything to do with creating in our lives. Maybe we do, and we're not consciously aware of the thoughts and beliefs that are helping to perpetuate that thing that we think we don't like or think we don't want. But we actually really are playing a hand in creating it, right? And so how do we figure that out? I'd like to do as the meditation today a little free writing exercise. Since we're all coming in on Zoom, you should be able to fairly quickly hopefully grab like a pen and something to write with. So I'll give you guys a few moments to do that if you can. And I'm gonna do we're gonna use the meditation as a little free writing exercise. And free writing just means that we write without any thought, no judgment, no censorship, no editing. You're literally just, the only objective for this 2 minutes, I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes, is to just keep your pen or pencil moving the entire time. And even if you don't know what to write, you can just write, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And if that's all that happens, that's great. But I'm going to give you a prompt in just a moment, and that will begin the writing, and we'll begin this exercise of meditation. And from there, all you have to do is let the pen move and just really try not to think. And so if you're ready, get your pen, ready to write. And the first thing you're going to write down is I am. I'll start the timer now and just go. I am. And again, the only objective here is to keep your pen moving, keep writing the entire time. Don't think, don't censor, don't edit. Just let it flow. And let this exercise be a window into maybe some of those subconscious beliefs, some of those things that are just underneath the surface. And if we have this idea that life is like a mirror, always reflecting back to us our thoughts, our beliefs, our expectations, we want to try to figure out what those beliefs and expectations are, right? Just a couple more seconds, keep going. Right. Stop, you can shake your hand out a little bit. And so take a look at your list now. And just for the next couple minutes, read over it. And I want you to reflect on, were you surprised by anything that came out? Was anything that you wrote down, surprisingly positive or empowering? Or maybe there were some things on the list that were surprisingly negative. Wow, I didn't realize I thought so poorly about myself. And maybe it's a mixture of both. But the invitation, I'm going to leave you guys with some homework today, actually, where sometime after the service, take this list of your I am list. And I want you to, at some point today, go through and circle everything on that list that does not feel like it's in alignment with the version of you that you want to create for yourself moving forward. Anything on that list that feels like it's no longer serving you, that when you read it, you're like, I don't like the way that feels. I don't know if I really want to believe that about myself anymore. Circle that thing. And then the next step after you do that is everyone is going to rewrite your list, your I am list. And you're going to have the opportunity to replace any of those things that you circled with something more positive, something that is empowering, something that does match this higher version of you that you see in your mind's eye when you're envisioning, who do I want to be? Who do I want to show up as in the world? So you're going to rewrite your list and replace anything that is no longer serving you with something that is fully in alignment with your divine self. And you can even replace things that were positive before with something even more positive. Like, I am kind could become, I am always opening to new ways to helping people and experiencing powerful moments of love each day. You could just really juice it up. And so that is the my homework that I'm leaving with you guys with. You didn't know you're going to get homework today. But I think we will go ahead and end it there because I feel like I'm a little bit over time. And once again, I really appreciate you guys allowing me to share. Thank you for having me on today.
All righty. Thank you, Hamilton, and appreciate the exercise and the homework. I'll be working on that. So everyone, thanks for watching our weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donations. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.